Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. If you're learning English and you enjoy listening to real-life stories, you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to tell you about my day as a pilot. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be responsible for hundreds of people while flying thousands of feet above the ground? Well, let me take you through my entire day, from the moment my alarm rang until I landed after one unforgettable flight. Let's get started. My alarm went off at exactly 4:15 in the morning. It was still completely dark outside. Most people were still asleep, but my day was just beginning. Being a pilot means waking up very early, especially if you have the first flight of the day. After getting out of bed, I took a quick shower, got dressed in my uniform, and looked at myself in the mirror. Every time I put on that uniform, I feel a huge sense of responsibility. It's not just about flying an airplane. It's about making sure everyone gets to their destination safely. I grabbed a light breakfast, just some coffee, eggs, and toast, because flying on an empty stomach is never a good idea. Then I picked up my suitcase and headed to the airport. The roads were almost empty, and the city was still waking up. When I arrived at the airport, the first thing I did was meet my crew. The flight attendants greeted me with smiles, and we all headed to the briefing room. Before every flight, pilots and cabin crew have a meeting. We discuss the weather, the flight route, possible turbulence, emergency procedures, and any special passengers we might have on board. Everything has to be carefully planned. There is no room for guessing when you're responsible for an airplane. Once the meeting was over, my co-pilot and I walked toward the aircraft. Seeing such a massive airplane waiting for us is something I never get tired of. Even after years of flying, it's still an incredible feeling. Before passengers board, we perform a complete inspection of the aircraft. We check the tires. We inspect the wings. We make sure there are no leaks. We verify the fuel levels. Inside the cockpit, we test every important system. Navigation. Communication. Hydraulics. Electrical systems. Flight controls. Every button. Every screen. Every instrument. Some people think pilots simply press a few buttons and let the airplane do all the work. That's far from the truth. Modern airplanes have amazing technology, but pilots constantly monitor everything. We must always be ready to react if something unexpected happens. About 45 minutes later, passengers began boarding. Families with excited children. Business travelers checking their laptops. Couples going on vacation. Some people looked relaxed. Others looked nervous. One little boy looked into the cockpit and waved at me with the biggest smile. I waved back. Moments like that remind me why I love this job. Soon it was time. The cabin doors closed. The pushback truck moved the airplane away from the gate. I contacted air traffic control. Everything was ready. As we slowly taxied toward the runway, I could feel the excitement building. Finally, we received clearance for takeoff. I gently pushed the throttles forward. The engines became louder. The airplane accelerated faster and faster. 100 knots. 130 knots. Rotate. The nose lifted. And within seconds, we were climbing into the morning sky. Every takeoff still feels magical. Watching the city become smaller beneath us is something I'll never get tired of. About 30 minutes into the flight, we reached our cruising altitude. The sun was shining above the clouds, creating one of the most beautiful views imaginable. From up there, everything seems peaceful. The clouds looked like giant mountains made of cotton. The sky was a brilliant shade of blue. It's one of the greatest offices anyone could ever have. Of course, the job isn't just about enjoying the view. We continuously monitored fuel consumption, weather conditions, engine performance, and communication with air traffic controllers. Every decision matters. About halfway through the flight, we encountered unexpected turbulence. The airplane began shaking. Nothing dangerous, but enough for passengers to notice. The seatbelt sign came on immediately. The flight attendants quickly secured the cabin and took their seats. I made an announcement. "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're experiencing a little turbulence. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened. Everything is completely under control. As pilots, staying calm is one of our most important responsibilities. Passengers take confidence from the crew. If we remain calm, they usually feel calmer too." Fortunately, after about 15 minutes, the air became smooth again. A little later, one of the flight attendants called us. A passenger wasn't feeling well. Fortunately, there was a doctor traveling on board who volunteered to help. While the cabin crew assisted the passenger, we stayed focused on flying the aircraft and coordinated with air traffic control in case we needed to land earlier. Thankfully, the passenger recovered after receiving medical attention, and we were able to continue safely. Situations like this remind us that every flight is different. You never know what challenges the day will bring. As we approached our destination, it was time to prepare for landing. We reviewed our landing checklist one final time. Landing is often considered one of the most demanding parts of any flight. Weather, wind, visibility, and runway conditions all play an important role. As we descended through the clouds, the city slowly appeared below us. Cars looked like tiny toys. Buildings became larger with every passing second. The runway was now directly ahead. The aircraft continued descending. 50 feet. 30 feet. 10 feet. The wheels gently touched the runway. A smooth landing. The passengers applauded. It's something that doesn't happen on every flight, but when it does, it always brings a smile to my face. After parking at the gate, passengers slowly left the airplane. Many thanked the crew before leaving. One little girl looked at me and said, "I want to be a pilot when I grow up." That simple sentence made my entire day. Maybe I had inspired someone's dream. After completing all the paperwork and saying goodbye to my crew, I finally left the airport. It had been a long day. I was tired. But I also felt incredibly grateful. Being a pilot isn't just about traveling the world. It's about discipline, responsibility, teamwork, making difficult decisions, and above all, keeping people safe. Every flight tells a different story. Every destination brings a new adventure. And every takeoff reminds me why I chose this career. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed this story while improving your English listening skills. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, follow me on social media, and share this podcast with a friend who is learning English. I'll see you in the next episode. Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep expressing your English.
I hope today's story inspired you to try something new while improving your English. Thanks for listening, and remember, every day is a new chance to learn. See you in the next episode, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my social media such as TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Goodbye.